overseas France and accounts for 18.0% of the French Republic's land territory. Its exclusive economic zone of 9,825,538 square kilometers accounts for 96.7% of the EEZ of the French Republic. Outside Europe, 4 broad classes of overseas French territorial administration currently exist: overseas departments, regions, overseas collectivities, the sui generis territory of New Caledonia, and uninhabited territories. From a legal and administrative standpoint, these 4 classes have varying legal status and levels of autonomy. Although all permanently inhabited territories have representation in both France's National Assembly and Senate, which together make up the French Parliament. 2,785,000 people lived in overseas France in January 2021. They have French nationality and vote for the President of France. They have the right to vote in elections to the European Parliament. Overseas regions have exactly the same status as mainland France's regions. The French Constitution provides that, in general, French laws and regulations apply to French overseas regions the same as in metropolitan France, but can be adapted as needed to suit the region's particular needs. Hence, the local administrations of French overseas regions cannot themselves pass new laws. The category of overseas collectivity was created by France's constitutional reform of March 28, 2003. Each overseas collectivity has its own statutory laws. In contrast to overseas departments, regions, the overseas collectivities are empowered to make their own laws. Except in certain areas reserved to the French national government, the overseas collectivities are governed by local elected assemblies and by the French Parliament and French government, with a cabinet member, the Minister of the Overseas, in charge of issues related to the overseas territories. With 2,785,000 inhabitants in 2021, overseas France accounts for 4.1% of the population of the French Republic. They enjoy a corresponding representation in the 2 chambers of the French Parliament. In the 14th legislature, overseas France is represented by 27 deputies in the French National Assembly, accounting for 4.7% of the 577 deputies in the National Assembly. Since September 2011, overseas France has been represented by 21 senators in the French Senate, accounting for 6.0% of the 348 senators in the Senate. The 11 inhabited French overseas territories are. Another referendum for independence occurred on October 4, 2020, with 53.3% voting against and 46.7% voting in favor of independence from France. Ranked by population in the urban area,